If your spring decor is still in your head and not in your house, let's fix that with a super easy DIY wood sign for your front door. Hey everybody, it's Whitney with Girl Friday Crafts. Welcome to the Wood Round or Wreath Wednesdays. I had to write that down to make sure I didn't mess it up. Hosted by DIY with Aura and Lolly D's Creations. We've got lots of awesome projects for you this week. Make sure you follow along on the entire playlist. Give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe to people's channels to get notified when they go live. Share these videos out with family, friends, neighbors, enemies. Doesn't matter. Just spread the love everywhere. And make sure you come back and see us next month as well for our next iteration of this YouTube collab. Thanks for joining us. Hope you like the project, and we will see you all again later. Bye, everybody. So I started out using the Dixie Belle gel stain in Tobacco Road to stain the board. I like using the chalk couture rounds because they're pre-stained, but because this was a class, I wanted to have ones that already had the hangers on it. And the Tobacco Road gel stain gets me about the same color as the chalk couture rustic round, so I like that too. It also doesn't smell, which makes it much easier to use inside than your traditional stains. And just like any other stain, you can apply it with a paintbrush, with a foam brush. Here I decided to see what it was like to use a paper towel. Not sure I love that technique. It worked, but I think a paintbrush or a foam brush for me is better. But any of those work, so you can use whatever technique you like the most. Now we get to the fun part. So I have my chalk couture Hello Spring transfer. This is actually a C-size transfer, but I cut it apart into its separate pieces to make it a little bit easier. Because I'm applying it on top of a wood surface and I'm not using the surface wax, and because it's brand new, I've never used it before, I'm going to use my fuzzing cloth, fuzz the transfer. I think I did this maybe 6 or 8 times. It takes a little bit of that sticky off the back and helps prevent pulling up any of that stain or any of my paste when I peel the transfer off of the surface. So if you're using wood, if you're using glass, plastic, acrylic, ceramic, anything like that, it's highly recommended that you fuzz your transfer, especially if it's new. You don't have to do that on textiles because you actually want it to stick as much as possible. And I decided that I wanted Hello Spring in the middle, and then I added some of the other elements around the round around the Hello Spring. Um, I got a little picky because it was a class and trying to make sure that I had it sort of lined up right. You can fold your transfer in half and put a little crease in it like I did right there. It's not going to hurt anything, and when you wash your transfer, that crease is going to come out, so you won't permanently damage anything. I do that a lot when I'm trying to line up transfer on a t-shirt to make sure that I'm, kind of getting it in the center. And then I decided just to use bright white for the center. Actually, I think I'm using Shimmer Frost. Yes, I am using actually the Shimmer Frost for the center because I wanted the Hello Spring to be the focal point. I wanted that to really pop. And so that contrast between the dark Tobacco Road stain on the round itself and then using the Shimmer Frost, which is my go-to if I'm using white chalk paste on a project, would give that sort of contrast that I wanted. And so if you've never seen chalk couture applied before, all I'm doing here is using my squeegee, applying the chalk paste over all of the negative space in that transfer. It's best to go kind of heavy and then squeegee off the excess and just put it back in your jar. And then I'll go over it again just to kind of make sure I get any of the lines out of the design so they don't show up in the finished paste when I peel that transfer off. To this day, the reveal is still my favorite part. I still get a kick out of pulling the transfer up off of my surface and seeing what it looked like. I go nice and slow, one, because I don't want to stretch out the transfer, also because if I catch any spots where I might have missed, where the paste might have not gone all the way through, I can drop that transfer back down and go over it again and, fix any issues. And then I decided that I wanted to add just the polka dot elements from this transfer. There's polka dot stripes and a little floral pattern. I'm, again, being a little fussy and picky about where I put those dots. But I wanted some polka dots at the top and some polka dots at the bottom. And I alternate using pucker, which is a shimmer yellow, and marmalade, which was, I believe, the March 2026 color of the month. So it's a bright orange. I alternate those colors in the polka dots. And I picked those two colors because I have pillows on our front porch for spring in those two colors. So I decided I wanted to get super fancy this year with the porch and put all of those elements, tie all of those elements together. And here she is all finished. I haven't decided if I'm going to add more polka dots or if I'm going to add some florals or some ribbon at the top. I kind of like her just the way she is, but every once in a while I look at her and like, she needs a little something more. So we'll see. But she's going on the door one way or the other. Hope everybody enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you follow along in the rest of the playlist, and we will see you next time.